Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Critical Reactions with your host, Bryan. We're going to move on to the penultimate episode of Melancholy Week. This is going to be a randomly selected song from the lower end of the poll, and it is Mice on Stilts. The song is called Khandallah, from their album Hope for a Morning. And morning is written as sort of the melancholy mourning, not the day mourning, but to mourn the loss or something like that. Produced and self-funded by Mice on Stilts with help from friends. So that's pretty cool. Let's see what they've got going on here.
Take a seat by the fire. Battle time through the evening. Are we the only ones here? A naked canvas covers the sky.
Yeah, getting real big anathema vibes.
Those crows above me will keep circling till the end.
Huh. Not the rhythmic pattern I would have went with.
Oh, what a wonderful surrender, where the ocean meets the sky. Long grass hides the world, while trains disappear through the air.
Yeah, just very atmospheric.
And I'm swimming deep.
Fantastic panning to separate those voices while keeping the harmony there.
Those crows will keep circling to the end.
Yeah, just real light and fluid. I'm really digging that about it. Saxophone came out of nowhere. I'm digging that though.
Will keep circling to the end.
Huh. That ended sooner than I think I was expecting. Uh so yeah, I have some thoughts about this. I do. Um so I dig it. Let's start with the positives. I mentioned that I really enjoyed the atmospheric work. There was this really nice momentum to it. It had this fluidity that sort of just went through every single passage of the track, adding things, taking away, moving to new ideas. There's just this real nice gradual momentum from start to finish. The transitional writing and the way that they continue to utilize some older elements when they went to new ideas, it works so well in creating a cohesive track that feels very connected from start to finish while still having sections that retain their own identity. There's just this really nice cohesion, as I stated, with this track. The engineering on the vocals was phenomenal. I believe most of the time the vocals were center panned, but when we had the female vocalist come in for the harmony, we had the two vocals panned left and right. I did find it interesting that the male vocalist had a bit of widening, maybe some width or some reverb effect to his sound, but the female singer was very straightforwardly produced, and there was a little bit of distraction there. Maybe I don't want to say dis. Can we have timbre dissonance? Is that something? Do we have a term for that? I don't think I've ever run into that before. The two timbres stick out a lot. And I don't know if that was just an additional way to separate them in the sound sphere. We already have the panning, giving them spatial distance, but maybe that's just another way to separate the sound. Either way, the female vocals come through very distinctly. Even though they're harmonizing, I can still very distinctly hear both vocals. So, an interesting choice as far as I'm concerned, although I'm sure there's some reason why it was done. And I would love to hear why. If anybody knows, maybe hopefully the producer or somebody from My Son Stilts comes through. It was produced by themselves, but still, maybe someone from the band can come by and shed some light on that. The saxophone, loved it. Came out of nowhere, and just saxophone with stringed instruments just sounds good. Whether that's guitars, violins, harps, I don't care. Saxes just sound good all the time. And then, of course, just the atmosphere. It's very pensive, it's very weighty, but it's not a heavy sound. It's just atmospherically heavy. It's a thick atmosphere, and it suits what we're going for this week, as well as what I assume they're going for. The album is called Hope for a Morning, so there's some melancholy ideas in the album title, and assuming that the entire song is supposed to be heavy, sorrowful, pensive, singular. It fits along with that very well. I think they did a fantastic job with that. There were a couple of things that just did not work for me specifically. I don't know how these decisions came about. Let's start with the sax. I love the sax. I thought it was fantastic. It was um, a great timbre to add, a great voice to add to what was already going on. It just sounds so good in the band. I don't know if that is a mainstay. I don't know if they, got a saxophonist to join on for the song, or if maybe they always have a saxophone player. But I loved it here. Um, but it didn't. It didn't really go for that melancholy aspect. And I think this is pretty much going to be everything that I really didn't enjoy about it. And it's going to be about my mindset. I'm coming into all of these songs expecting these very strong, not negative emotions, but uh, melancholy. I mean, that's the name of the week. I'm coming in here looking for stuff that kind of airs on the sadder, heavier, thoughtful side of music. And the inclusion of the saxophone did not make me feel any of that. The saxophone made me happy. Not just because of probably what I associate with saxophones. I think that they are a beautiful sound. Saxophones are also kind of a cornerstone of jazz, and I'm going to touch on that a little bit more. But jazz to me is typically rather upbeat. There are some heavier, more downtrodden jazz stuff, but the stereotypical stuff. We got fusion, we got samba, we got jazz, I mean, not jazz, swing, we got rock, we got big band. Jazz is not typically a sad genre of music. Yes, we do have blues, right? Blues is a jazz subgenre that is a little heavier, but it to me it's the fringe. A lot of the more mainstream, well-known jazz stuff is bright and poppy and upbeat, kinetic. This is the opposite of kinetic. So the saxophone feels kind of odd to me, maybe just from that bias, but also the melodic line that it had going out of the song there at the end. It just it it didn't it had momentum and movement and joy to it. And we're going to touch on that in a second. The other thing is the beginning of the track. We start out with this amazing atmospheric intro, really setting the tone for everything. I love the chord choices. They have a little bit of sorrow to them, but overall, it's more of a pensive, thoughtful, um, dreamlike feel, and it's real perfect for the sort of vibes that the song goes for. And then the drums come in with a bunch of these offbeat starter hits, sort of like eighth notes coming into the downbeat, and it gives it this sort of swing feel. Another concept that just does not instill a lot of weight and heaviness. That sort of pickup note to several downbeats gives it this feel of jumpiness. There's this momentum. It wants to be bouncy and dancey, and the rhythm in the drums just did not match the rhythmic qualities of the rest of the instruments until the saxophone came in and also kind of brought out a little bit more of this jazzy, upbeat bounciness to it. And it's such a thematic clash for me. I don't know why they were chosen this way. Maybe there's something about the song that I'm not getting. Maybe it is supposed to be a bit more of a melancholic song, but maybe it's supposed to be some sort of not celebration, but sort of an understanding of mourning and that kind of happy sad, like when you celebrate the birthday of a loved one who's passed or something like that, where it's this mix of joy and celebration and remembrance mixed with, the hurt of remembering. Um, which I guess could kind of tie into their album title, Hope for a Morning. There's the positivity of the hope, and then the down to earth weight, that pain of the morning. It's this clash of positive and negative. I really don't want to call melancholy or sorrow negative. It is an emotion, it is part of the human condition, it is very normal, acceptable, human to be sad. I don't want to keep calling it a negative emotion. I don't want to call happiness a positive emotion, but those are the words that come to mind due to the way, I've been, I guess, my upbringing. Some of those things that you just kind of try to get over as an adult as you come to understand things better. Kids don't like to be sad, right? We always associate that with negativity, but yeah, sadness is valid, so it shouldn't be a negative emotion. I'm getting on a bit of a rant here, though. Um, so yeah, I'm thinking maybe that's just this where it is this mix of positive and negative and sort of intertwining the two. And those, again, I said positive and negative. I'm not labeling those emotions, but the happy and the bouncy with the weighty and the downtrodden, the sorrow, and kind of bringing them together into this mixed emotion that we might feel during events like, celebrating loved ones who have passed. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of torn on this one. If their intention is to bring about or to instill this very complex emotion into the listener, I think they have executed it very well. But if the intention was to write something that is weightier, more atmospheric, I have to question the drums and the saxophone. So, as usual, I'm going to err on the positive side and assume that what I am experiencing is the intended experience, and that they are looking to provide this very mixed, complex set of emotions. In which case, it's just fantastic. I don't think it's very easy to pull that off. It's easy to give happy and dancey. It's easy to give heavy and weighty. It's not easy to mix the two. So yeah, hats off. So those are my thoughts on Khandallah by Mice on Stilts. This is where you guys come in. Hit me up in the comments. Let me know if you enjoyed it or not. If you think I'm spot on, maybe I missed something and you have some extra information. Maybe you have a completely different perspective of the song. I would love to hear. Critical Reactions is not about me telling you about music. It's about all of us exploring music together. I'm not always right. These are just my experiences with the music, and I'm always open to hearing other people's critical thoughts, critical ideas about, well, their experiences and what they got out of music. So yeah, drop that kind of stuff in the comments. Above that is a description box. If you would like, you can check out some stuff like Discord, Twitter, Patreon, spreadsheets, all sorts of stuff. I am sort of a data nerd. I keep spreadsheets of stuff about the channel just because I like to see it neatly arranged. Yeah, so there's stuff there. Below that, like, subscribe, ring a bell. I'll be back tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 10 p.m. UTC, as usual, with the final song for Melancholy Week. This is going to be the one I specially selected. I picked it because it sounds interesting. That's it. The band name is unusual, and the name of the song is, it's got a pretty cool ring to it. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And then of course we'll hit up the weekend with some special selections. I think this is the last week. Yep, this is the last full week I have for special selections. So we're going to be opening that up this week as well. You can look forward to that video sometime between now and next Friday, in the next 7 to 8 days. That way I can have some stuff coming in for the week after, because I only have one selection left. All right, well, until next time, remember to be critical, not cynical, of the music you listen to, and have a fantastic morning, afternoon, or evening whenever you choose to watch my videos.